Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from. This is Afric 24 TV channel, bringing you the best episodes when it comes to matters relationships, matters love, matters issues to do with what kind of love should we be experiencing each and every day. We want to welcome everybody on board. It is approximately, or it is 8:07 East African time. We say here good evening ama habari ya jioni. Wherever you're watching us, our viewers, kindly welcome on board. I want to welcome our panelists so that they say hello to you, starting with Anne Wawero.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you this amazing Friday. As you have tuned into Afric 24, the best show where we bring you vibes after vibes after vibes. Good to see you. Comment, like, share. We can't wait to hear from you.
Wonderful, wonderful. We also have Leo Nyebaya, who I don't know if he has been a victim of our topic today. I'm an interested party. Leo, say hi to our viewers.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say hi. I know I'm going to speak in the next minute. Some noisy environment, but shortly I'll be in a better place. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we want to encourage our viewers to kindly get in touch with us. Remember, today, this is Bed of Roses show that comes to you each and every Friday, 8 p.m. East African time. And we always talk about issues to do with love, issues to do with relationships. What kind of an environment or world do we want in terms of making sure that we make the world a better place to live, and in matters relationship? Kindly follow our discussions and also subscribe to our TV channel, that is Afric 24 in YouTube. Yeah. We are also in Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitter, and each and every social media platform, and engage with us. Today we'll be talking about abuse in relationships, and we're talking about this sweet Thorn, kale kamwiba ambako kana kudungaga lakini ni katamu, but at the end of the day it is eating you up. And we always talk about this and say emotional abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. Actually, it is worse. You can heal broken bones, but you can't heal a broken mind. Join us as we discuss this. Do you agree with these sentiments, Madam Anne, that emotional abuse is sometimes worse than this physical abuse?
Well, thank you for calling me madam. Yeah, it's not funny that we are talking about abuse, because that is one of the things that affect people in our society. And that's why you see so many people bitter. You can talk to someone and think you're okay, but because they have so much going on in their lives, when it comes to abuse, as you have said, it can physical can break the bones, but emotional abuse can really break your mind. So the people you meet are broken people, and the minute ni kama ukanyage mtu tu hivi kidogo, anangoja tu hivi kidogo alipuke because of things that they are going through. Yeah, so I believe there are so many people suffering from this abuse. I can't wait for us to delve into it and talk more about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. And before we come to on board, you can tell us how Naivasha was, Safari Rally. I know you were there. How was it?
No, I think you are the one who was there. Stop putting me under the bus. You can't throw me under the bus.
It was really nice. It was really nice, but on a sad note, we have had news or what was happening, whereby we have talked about issues to do with the young ones, the Generation Z. Not Generation Z.
Yeah, Z.
Whereby we are not talking about right now. They are not talking about issues to do with condoms. But now they are using these other things. What do you call them?
What are these? What?
After sex, after you have been exposed to infection.
After pills. Oh, what is that?
After pills, sasa. And I think there was an outcry, yes, whereby the young ones want to go raw and want to do everything directly without minding, but they want to take medicine after. That means that watu hawataki kutumia karatasi. Nyabayo ni Leo, ni ukweli?
Actually, I don't know why you people are forcing me to comment on that, but the Generation Z that we're having currently,
Uh-huh.
it's a generation in its own. They are trying to invent, and because of technology, I've heard somebody talking of nowadays they don't want to use we used to call them peppers when we were in their age, or the makaratasi or the jualas and such kind of things.
Uh-huh.
Uh, there are some pills I understand that they take after having an act. Apart from that, there is this thing you call the P2, and I don't know the P3s, whatever. I only know the P3 that you're given
P3
when
ni
you
ya
are
polisi wewe.
ya
Uh-huh.
polisi. So kuna hii ingine ya P2. Kuna kupigwa kwingi, kuna huku kule kupigwa, ukipigwa unapewa P3 ya polisi, na kuna huku kupigwa unaenda P2.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
So I'm talking about,
Uh-huh.
get this, some of them have made it like medication. They can't do
Yeah.
without it. So medically,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what medics say about using it frequently, but we are doomed as a community, because
Yeah.
the morality level imerudi, watu wamezoea
Uh-huh.
story kama hiyo. People don't want to
Uh-huh.
use it's because of technology and such kind of advancements. I have to say so, though I didn't want to comment
Uh-huh.
on such. I'm not an expert in horizontal engineering.
But anyway, we are going to get to that in one of our programs that is going to come. We are going to be discussing about the consequences of our today's actions. And
Yeah.
we need to educate the young ones on these aftermaths of some of the things that we engage in as early ages. And it's also good to
Mm.
know that zipping up is very important as far as this is concerned. But today I want us
Yeah.
to talk about this issue of abuse in relationships. And I want to talk about why is it a sweet thorn. And maybe you can start with that definition. Maybe, and you can take us through what is this that we call abusive relationship or abuse in relationships.
I think for me, not for me, generally, an abusive relationship is where a relationship where one person exerts power and control over the other person in a negative way. It can be physical, emotional, like we are saying, verbal, financial abuse, sexual abuse, and the like. Any type of behavior that keeps one person under the control of another, that is abuse. Like I can't
And
voice my sentiments to you as my husband or my partner because I fear that you're going to reprimand me or you're going to beat me up. I can't speak freely. So I think that is fine. An abuse, either financially, emotionally. There are so many forms of abuse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So when I exert a negative pressure on you, even if we are in love, as long as it
Mm-hmm.
is implicating or it is coming to me in a negative way, we can call that
Mm-hmm.
abuse because I think it is not adding any value to me.
Another thing, I think manipulation is one of those things because some people
Mhm.
manipulate people very well, and it's a form of abuse because if you're in in a place where you can't really speak your mind and it's a relationship, I think there's
Mhm.
a problem. Yes.
Wonderful. Leo, what do you understand by the term abusive relationship? Abuse in relationships. Is it to you a sweet thorn?
Okay, actually, what I can tell you, when you talk of abuse simply means misuse of something. Huh?
Mm.
So when you talk of maybe abusive relationship, I can say it is misuse of a relationship. You go,
Uh-huh.
you overdo it. Basically, that is what it means. So an abuse is when
Yeah.
you do something contrary to what
Uh-huh.
maybe you people agreed to do. You do something that is not going to make your partner happy.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is going to give or pain or make your partner feel demoralized, feel pain, or feel as if they are not part of this kind of relationship. We can call it an
Yeah.
abuse because in a
Uh-huh.
relationship, you people ought to have come together and live happily. But anything that is going to deny either of you peace of mind or some physical pain, it's an
Uh-huh.
abuse.
So, and it's good because you have talked about that misuse and such. And we are requesting our viewers to get in touch with us and also let's have a discussion and a debate under this. I can see Judith Anyango is tuning in from Shamahoho. Very well. And you are saying that you are following this live discussion and broadcast to you. Now, And you have given us some hints and talked about the types of abuses. It can be physical,
Mhm.
it can be verbal, it can be emotional, it can be financial. Maybe we can give examples. What do you mean when you're talking about an abusive relationship? And we can start with the
Mhm.
verbal abuse. What does it entail?
I think verbal abuse is like the word suggests, verbal abuse. Like now I would
Mhm,
decide to call you a dog.
mhm.
I would decide
It is not
to
me, it is an example.
delete.
Just put that disclaimer.
Yes. It's an example. For example, I decide to call
Mhm,
you dog.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
I
mhm,
don't want to say it in my mother tongue because it's really bad. And you're my partner,
mhm,
or in another session, I can also decide to demean you in ways that I know that will hurt you. You know, when you're married to someone or you're in a relationship with someone, you know a lot of their things
mhm,
and you
mhm,
know where it hurts best. So,
mhm,
what most partners do, they'll say something and you're like, no, you didn't just say that because you know them very well. So many people
mhm,
use that
mhm,
to abuse their partners verbally
mhm.
because they know it will hurt them. That's why you're abusing. So verbal
Eh,
is, as it said, by
mhm.
words. Mm.
And it's bad because I think verbally, when we talk about this some terms, and
Mhm.
I'm asking our members and our viewers to get in touch with us. Goodia is saying, hi, Anna, MC, Jesse, and Leo. Welcome on board, Goodia.
Hello.
We have
Hello.
acclimatized abuses in our relationships, whereby
Mm.
abuse is just normal. There is the joke part of it whereby you can abuse somebody positively, yeah?
Mhm.
But we have
Oh.
taken this to another level whereby we abuse each other, and it becomes normal when we abuse each other. Utasikia mwanaume anasema tu wewe ni mjinga tu kama mamako at the end of the day. And I think
Mm.
this is what we are talking about. Is it a norm now that we have normalized, or as we have made this
Mhm.
a way of living? Leo.
Mhm.
Okay, I've heard it's said, being said, and I've said that abuse is when maybe somebody calls you a dog, but it also depends. There are some animals that, like men, when I call you a lion or a leopard, you won't treat it as an abuse.
Or a
But when
rhino.
somebody calls
Uh-huh.
you a dog, you take it as an abuse. But if you go to the other end, the other game, people
Mhm.
talk
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
some dog styles and such kind of things. They don't want to be called dogs, but they want to practice what dogs are practicing. So, so
Interesting.
a verbal
Uh-huh.
abuse, actually, when a marriage becomes or a relationship becomes toxic, or it becomes abusive, you'll find that
Mhm.
you stop calling people the sweet names, the names of these cheap things like sweetie, baby, and the
Mhm.
childish names, and you start calling people with some animals that you feel you don't maybe value in life, things like that.
Mhm.
You start shouting at each other. You start giving some, no, there's some public spot that you need to avoid when you're having your partner. Maybe
Mhm.
you are in a public place, na watoto pia wako, so like, hey, nani, mbona umetoka kwa choo na hujamwaga maji? So those are some forms of
Mhm.
verbal abuses, actually. So when you
Mhm.
start seeing such kind of things happening in a relationship, you ought to know that, okay, something has really changed. Things are not as they
Mhm.
used to be, because when the relationship is moving smoothly and you have your man or your lady, they can even
Mhm.
fail to do that thing in the toilet, but you'll get a polite way of telling them, okay, you forgot to do this, but I did it. But the moment
Mhm.
it starts coming out publicly, then
Mhm.
it gets verbally abusive to an extent that mtu amekuletea chakula, you say, hey, na leo hii chakula umepika kama nyanya yako aje,
Come on.
umeipika hivi hivi aje. You get it? So some kind of things,
Uh-huh.
it tells you.
Uh-huh.
Those are verbal
Mm.
abuses. It doesn't have to be somebody calling you a dog or somebody calling you a cat or a rat or such kind
Yeah.
of things, but
Yeah.
how you are addressed can tell you you're being verbally abused.
Mhm.
Wonderful, and it's good because I'm also getting comments from our chat room. Goodia is saying mental abuse is the worst, and he's also saying Stockholm syndrome is also a normalized abuse. And maybe we can you can engage us more to elaborate on this. Now, this verbal abuse has taken different shapes, and I
Mhm.
think there are different levels of abuses. That is verbal abuse. Yeah, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
it starts even from the bedroom or when you are just the two of you, but it becomes
Mhm.
worse when it is also extended to our kids at the end of the day.
Mm,
And I think we have also acclimatized ways of silently abusing our spouses or our people we are in love with, even with songs and such kind of things, whereby we utter bad words. But it also becomes worse when you
mhm,
get out of your plot, kwa wale wanaishi plot, and unasikia pande moja bwana anarusha maneno bibi, and this is I think men suffer most when it comes
mhm.
to verbal abuse. Is it true? And mudomo chenu.
I I agree. I think women are naturally so talkative. We talk too much, and some of us have verbal diarrhea, so to say. So you can say things that you really know they're hurting, and sometimes you just talk. You just say things without thinking, and after
Mhm,
saying them, you're like, okay, what did I just tell him? But you see, we are supposed to think before we say anything. We don't apply that as much, but I know that is true. Men suffer a lot from how women speak. They speak a lot.
mhm,
But when you guys hit back, it's even worse.
mhm,
Your abuse becomes even worse because you might decide to give me a silent treatment. I believe this is a form of abuse in terms of a
mhm.
relationship. Because when you go silent on me, then I'm not able to know what you're thinking. So that's a form of abuse. But I
Mhm.
agree, women really are not so good when it comes to talking and
Yeah, and
abuse. Mhm.
quite a number of times when I'm doing a functions and events and mostly weddings and such, I always tell
Mhm.
women that when it gets worse, and I always
Mhm.
demonstrate, unakunywa maji, ukikunywa
Mhm.
maji unaweka kwa mdomo, wakati unaongeleshwa inakuwa
Mhm.
ni nini? Good is saying women were born mouthy. It is natural and they use it as a weapon. Is it so,
Yeah.
Leo? Do you agree with us that women are very mouthy?
Okay, this idea that women were born mouthy, I think it's just encouraging women to be mouthy. Nobody was born mouthy. The only thing that we know is that women were born or were created to be submissive. That is according to the creation stories that we do have. But the issue of being mouthy, this is something that they use it to encourage and advance some bad manners. Nobody was born to be mouthy. And for those who profess Christianity, even the teachings of St. Paul, he reminds women that they need to learn in silence. So when you see a woman being mouthy, then they are ungodly women. And the moment you start seeing a woman being unmouthy, it tells you things are not wrong. If a relationship is moving smoothly, even that
Mhm.
noisiest woman, the most noisy woman that you know, will always be silent. It tells you that there is love, there is some good relationship. And if things
Mhm.
get out of hand, even that the most silent woman or the most silent lady you know will disapprove you because they'll start getting noisy. So the moment you see
Yeah.
women raising their voices, actually, which is not their character, then it tells you there's
Mm.
something wrong. It is not normal for women to
Mm.
raise their voices. Even
Mhm,
religiously or according to African traditions, women are always listening and following silently. So the moment they start raising their voice, there's something wrong. Either they've taken control of you or there's a distress.
mhm.
Where?
And it's true because at the end of the day, uh, what is the connection between you and being mouthy and
Mhm.
being mouthy in quotes? Is there any physical? Were you created to be mouthy? Okay, are you mouthy?
What do you mean by mouthy in quotes? You have to say it as it is. Here is Africa 24. We say it as it is. What is mouthy?
Is
Say it.
it something that is? Leo has said no one was born mouthy. It's just that we have acclimatized ourselves. And Goodyear was saying that women are mouthy. Which is which, according to you? Ukijisikia
I think.
kwa undani.
I echo Leo's sentiments about women being like you can trigger somebody to talk back to you. Like if I'm a silent person and then something happens, or I feel like there are some demands that are not being met by my partner, then I would maybe start being mouthy. I believe, I think I disagree with Nani, even though I said women are mouthy.
Mhm.
We talk a lot, but it's not being rude or anything. Some of us are just talkative. Naturally, women are talkative, but it's not being mouthy, because some can be rude by being mouthy, and some are. We have different, what are they called? Character traits. It's not that we are born mouthy. So
Mhm.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Mhm. But from my perspective, and I don't know if you'll agree with
Yeah,
me, I
just say that women are oral rather than say they're mouthy. They are
Ati
oral.
oral. Oral ni mbaya. Hiyo inakaa funny.
hey, Oro, wewe
Hiyo
unaleta
inakaa funny.
matamshi ya mambo mengine hapa. Now, I want to believe,
Ati oral.
I want to believe, and this is also connecting to what Goodyear is saying. On the other hand, some men are physical. I want to
Physical,
believe that
yeah.
quite a number of cases of abuses in relationships are born out of verbal diarrhea, verbal abuse. Because
Yeah.
I think men will always defend the weapon for men is not in the mouth. Na ndio maana utaona mwanaume ametusiwa kabisa, lakini at the end of the day hata tusiana, lakini kitendo kile atafanya will be
Atafanya
something that will be different. Do you
you won't
believe
remember.
that quite a number of abuses in relationship, the
Mm.
mother of these abuses is verbal diarrhea?
Yeah. I believe most of the things, and even fights, begin by speech, and they might trigger. Unajua mtu akikwambia saa unakaaje, kama una behavingi aje kama mtoto wewe,
Mhm,
kwanza jamaa ukimuita kipii, or I don't know what you call that. Yeah, if you demean a
mhm,
man, I believe they will still hit back. Or if you try to hit back a man, even if they don't like fighting women, they will fight you
mhm.
because of your
Now,
mdomo, or even triggering that you want to look like you want to bring them down.
mhm. And
Yes.
some few terms, and I want to bring on board Leo and ask him practically,
Mm-hmm.
Leo. Uh, Now, if a woman tells you wewe ni mwanaume samburi gani, wewe ni mwanaume useless,
Mm-hmm.
wewe ni mwanaume senge kabisa, wewe ni mwanaume bure kabisa, bure birashi, bure kabisa, how will you act or react, Leo?
Okay, it depends. You know, MC just we live in a world whereby women sample men differently. When they talk of women sample gani, there are women who sample men financially, there are women who sample men physically, and there are women who sample men emotionally. So financially is they want to know your financial capability, including women who cannot maybe support themselves financially, who cannot even feed themselves, will come and tell you, unajua msijase wewe ni mwanaume bure, huna pesa, huna kitu, but they themselves they cannot feed themselves. There are women who will sample you physically, the ones who will talk of you are good in bed and you're not good in bed. And when I say good in bed, it doesn't mean putting on nice clothes while sleeping. I think you understand what good in bed mean. And they also and there are also women who will sample you emotionally. How frequently do you talk to them? Are you that person who, when you're walking with them, unaacha wako mita moja unawachunga ukiwa nyuma, ama unatembea ukiwa mbele unawaambia kujeni wakufuate? They want to sample you, that are you that man who will be holding their hand and touching their neck or touching their waist as you walk with them? So if a woman sample you, maybe the only thing I can ask that woman, in which perspective? Is it physical? That one you call good in bed or something like that? Is it financial? And if you're talking, you want to describe me financially, are you able to, are you financially stable? For you look for a financially stable man, because you can't be looking for a man who is financially stable, yet you yourself are not financially stable. You can't feed yourself, you look for a man. You know, these men are not charity organizations. And you also ask them, are you sampling me emotionally? Then from that we can now be able to talk. If it's emotional, okay, I'll hold your hands and such kind of things. If it is financial, I have something that is enough for me. If you have something enough for you, then we can put it together, then it will be enough for us. If it is physical, okay, let me stop there.
Now, and it's good because you have brought about the perspective of a mature man, whereby if you are abused verbally, how you react. But not quite a number of people will react the way you are talking about. Not so many men will have a very elaborate way of looking at this from a positive perspective and trying to change. And James Gashigwa from Vika, you are tuned in together with Regina. Welcome on board. You can share your sentiments or any case studies that you have of people who have been abused in relationships, or if you have been a victim of this abuse, how did you get out of this? You tell a man that he is useless. This could cause a war that even a pastor can't mediate. That is good here who is saying this. So men, we are talking about this, and it is the view of Africa 24 that we can convert these abuses that are verbal into positive engagements, and at the end of the day we don't have to lift our hands up. But now we come to the real issue. You have abused me verbally, I will come on board to you physically. Leo, maybe we can have some of the pictorials of some of these victims of physical abuse in relationships. You can imagine of that face, you cannot know where the eyes start and end. You can have another one. This one, I think the eyes have been changed. You can see the multiple. Huyu hata huwezi jua akiangalia pande ya mbele na nyuma ni wapi. Even hands are cut. And you can imagine she was a beautiful lady. We can have another one. You can imagine such kind of a photo who says, my husband slashed my face with a panga and plucked my eyes. Somebody who was loved, somebody you have shared a bed with, mtu mwenye labda amekuzalia ama mmezaa pamoja na yeye, can be able to slash and cut off ama kupluck eyes. You know, plucking eyes is, tuendelee, iko nyingine. Wow, quite disturbing photos there of people who have been in love, and at the end of the day, there is no continuity. Physical abuse in a relationship is proof that God doesn't live within you. True.
I agree.
Could you do such? Kuna ile ya mijeredi. I don't know if you have it in studio. Mwanaume alikuwa amepigwa mijeredi kama Yesu wakati alikuwa anasulubiwa. But as we get that, Anne, is that kind of abuse?
What? Please?
Is there love? Can we say there is love?
When it comes to abuse, or generally?
Yes, when it comes to that physical abuse. Ati mimi na wewe tumekuwa in a relationship, but I have gotten to a point whereby I pluck your eyes off.
How can you love somebody that you hurt? You can't hurt. If you love somebody, you can't hurt that person. You can't hurt that person. You'll take care of them so well that it's like how you're taking care of yourself. Like the Bible says, yeah. You'll take care of for a man, you'll take care of a woman as you take care of your body. It's in Ephesians somewhere. So I don't believe that you can beat somebody that you love. Ati mngoe macho. Unampenda hadi sasa. There is no love. And even the Bible talks about loving your neighbor, not even a woman that you sleep with that has given you children. You've sired children with this woman and you still pluck her eyes, cut her fingers. If it's a man, umemngoa mpaka nini? Ya watu wengine wa umemngoa sasa sehemu, sasa hata sijui mwingine amechapwa hivi.
Huyu mwanaume ni kama alikuwa kwa ile safari ya Yesu. Just look at the way kuna mijeredi kwa mgongo na unapigwa na bibi proper. Anyway,
that's not
we will come to this case study in a few, but I want us to take a short commercial break and we will be right back in Africa 24. Tip.
every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance. Presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru, Bed of Roses. Promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.
Welcome back, welcome back. We have run an advert of Noel fish. If you want fish from wherever you are, all the world, every place, you have a chance to get this. I can see Dolly Mavuta, who is in Germany. And Dolly, if you want a package, I can send you a package of fish, fresh from Lake Victoria. I want us just to have a broadcast of one of the photos. Maybe studio, you can project one of the photos. Tuulizane maswali. Where did we go wrong? We can have the lady. We can have one for the ladies. The next one. Let's start with this. James Gashigo is saying, love is gentle, love is caring, love is patient, love is kind. And our body is the temple of Holy Spirit. No Holy Spirit inside you, man, lives animal. No Holy Spirit inside you, man, lives animal, enters. And when somebody raises a hand, this is from Goodyear, when a man raises a hand to any spouse, please leave for your safety. It was the work of the devil. Sorry to say so. And ifike hapa mtu apigane na mtu this level, and this is a person mwenye mmependana na yeye kabisa, this is a person mwenye mmejifunika blanketi moja, this is a person anakujua inside outside, this is a person anajua ukilia either kwa mazuri ama kwa ukame. To what extent?
Well,
where is love?
I don't think there is love there. I think I gave a story a while back when we were talking about toxic relationships, about a friend that I have who was really stabbed by her husband 17 times. And she still went back to the same husband and even gave birth to another child. And she's still there. So my mind goes, every time I hear about abuse, and especially physical abuse, and I think even emotional abuse, my mind goes back there. Because I keep thinking, what is my friend thinking? What is she waiting for? Because at the end of the day, I remember telling her candidly, that having a candid conversation with her and telling her, I think that at the end of the day, what will happen to you is that I'll come to bury you. It's quite unfortunate because this person can never change. Somebody who has hit you 17 times with a knife, stabbed you 17 times, what else can they do to you? And every time now he comes back, now what he's using is verbal abuse, because now he doesn't want to hit. He's doing emotional abuse, because now he wants now to finish her completely, because when the mind is gone, like mind yako sasa akiku-abuse mentally, what else are you left with? You can't think clearly. You're disturbed. You can't take care of your children very well because you're disturbed. So I don't see any love there. It's quite unfortunate that I can relate with this story. Yes, it's not my story physically, but I know somebody who is going through this. And there is no love there. Hata akiniambia anapenda huyo mtu aje, I don't see any love. Where is love there? None. None whatsoever.
And Leo, as I bring Leo on board, there is that lady's photo I want you to project, the one who has been plucked her eyes. And I just want to ask ourselves a question. This is, and she says very well, this is my husband who slashed my face with a panga, you can imagine, and plucked my eyes. Leo, what next for this lady if she finds herself back to the husband? Tutampata wapi?
MC Jesse, I have to tell you that it's so sad that they do say love is blind. Love is so blind that it blinds people that even after this kind of incidents, you'll still find the lady getting back to the husband and forgetting everything. But if love wasn't blind, somebody who plucked your eyes, you still get back to that place. Unless you want that person to kill and finish you completely.
Exactly.
Mhm. And because
Yeah.
either way, this person and this person who is has been plucked her eyes off, the next part will be
The
to be
next
killed. And
who
I
has
can
already
see Nyambura Karimi is saying gender-based violence is real. Goodia is saying there are two types of love. Love is caring and compassion, and the other type of love doesn't contain care and compassion. It is just packaging. Peke yake. And
how?
he's trying to explain on the syndrome that
Okay.
where you can't leave the person because you have been manipulated mentally, and we are going to come to that.
Yeah.
I want to give a case study of a person who was maybe you can stop
Remove.
sharing this studio, uh, whereby a lady was in an abusive relationship to a point
Mm-hmm.
that, and I'm talking about a case study of a friend of mine who also happened to be a close friend, and I think 2 years ago, and may her soul rest in peace. This lady was in an abusive relationship. We tried to make sure that she stops being in an abusive marriage to a point
Mm-hmm.
that she still existed. She still uh, uh, went on to be in this relationship. She
Mm-hmm.
moved out of the house, but she was
Yeah.
still seeing this man. But when she
Mm-hmm.
moved out of that house, the man was able to spot some other men coming to the house. And
Mm-hmm.
one evening, this guy
Mm-hmm.
attacked the lady. Uh,
What?
she He made sure that, and this happened in Juja, in Kenya,
Where?
some
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 years ago. When this guy got into the compound, he made sure he knew where the main switch was and such. He did put off the lights. He crawled
Mm-hmm.
into, he knocked the house, and the kids opened. They didn't know who it was. But when he got in, it was total darkness. The kids
Mm-hmm.
had to be told to lie in their seats. This guy
Mm-hmm.
went, grabbed the woman, went to
Mm-hmm.
her with her to the upstairs to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
There was a commotion. The kids could not act. They could not cry. They could not do anything. When
Mm-hmm.
this guy moved out of that the house, he
Mm-hmm.
had stabbed this lady
What?
17 times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he left, and when he was leaving, he was looking for the
Mm-hmm.
house help so that
What?
he can also take care of the house help so that at the end of the day they don't do the need. And when he left, one of the kids who was a bit in a teenage level or something like that, about 10 years, rushed to
Mm-hmm.
the bedroom and asked mom, what is it? And there were no lights, eh? And the
Yeah.
woman said, go call the neighbors to take me to the hospital. Your dad has done this to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was rushed to the hospital, she was pronounced dead. When I was told this, I went to see this lady, if it's true, the following day. And what I was
Mm-hmm.
met with was a very bad image that I don't want to recall, because kitu nilipatana nayo tu nje ni
Mm-hmm.
intestines and such.
Wow.
And
That's
ask
quite sad.
ourselves, must people wait for such to happen? Must you wait to be in this kind of condition? Must you wait to be killed for you to be in
Mm-hmm.
this relationship that is physically abusive? And
Well, I don't know where our studio, I think, is. Yeah, I can't see
yeah,
you. So I think I as I have said, I also am bothered because it affects me personally. Because if my friend or somebody I know is going through the same thing, it's something that I don't know how to echo my sentiments or my thoughts about that. But I don't think you should stay. I think, but as Gudia is saying, you have been controlled even mentally that you can't even think straight. You can't leave. You feel like this person is your life. So people just stay there. Like now, this lady had already moved on with her life, the one you're talking about, but the guy still followed her. It's like this thing doesn't leave her. But I think the best thing is we should not ignore red flags from the word go, because these things, I think you can tell somebody who is abusive from the word go by how they treat you. Even if they try to manipulate you, you can tell this is an abuser. Huyu kuna kitu anaweza fanya. If there are some people who can even tell you, they start threatening you. Unajua inakaa subtle. It's a subtle threat like, yes, ukicheza na mimi naweza kuua. The minute somebody tells me that, I'm now starting to think, wow, this person, if you can bring, you can say, utter such words, what can't you do? If you can say that you'll kill me, that's already a red flag. Yeah, that person can hit you one day and kill you. So I think when you should not ignore red flags from the word go when you're dating somebody, or even when you're in the marriage. It's better to go home alive than going back to your home dead in a coffin, or even not being able to take care of your children because you didn't solve some problems that you would have solved kitambo by choosing right who to get married to. You can tell an abuser from the word go, I think. That's my thoughts though. Yeah.
And it's true because we need to, at early age and early stages, we need to get in touch with ourselves. We need to know what is that we can be able to engage in. And Dina is also agreeing with these sentiments. And I think we'll later on play a video of a victim of abuse who was able to move out of abusive relationship. And I think we need to have that candid conversation that it is not well when you don't talk. It is not well when you are mishandled in a relationship. Yeah? Mficha uchi hazai, si ni kweli, yeah? When you are facing signs and symptoms of abuse, it can be verbal abuse. Do you share these with some of your friends? Do you come on board and tell somebody that, well, there are these signs and symptoms, there are these red flags? Because maybe this lady, I'm making an example of this lady, maybe if she talked out about this, maybe if she realized she is manipulated mentally, she sought what you call maybe counseling, she talked to somebody, then it will have been a solution. But look at what happens to most of the ladies. You end up losing it completely when we run to our, in quotes, spiritual dads. We call them spiritual dads and moms, who will always tell you endelea kukaa kwa hiyo relationship, mwanaume hafanyangi nini, because maybe you are worried, what is the society going to say about me? How am I going to be taken in this? It is also going to be dangerous for me to live and such kind of things. And I think if we have a candid conversation with our clouds and also come on board and maybe agree that there is a problem, then we can have a solution. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I agree. And I can see Goodia saying that you never know about someone until you live with them. And I said, as I said there, Goodia, is even when you're inside, you can already tell now that you have known them and you see that they are this type of people. It's not late for you to leave. You can leave, not caring about societal impressions of what they are going to say about you leaving your marriage or whatever. Even if you had a big wedding that was emceed by our good MC Jesse. Yes, he wouldn't want to see people leave marriages, but I think if it gets that tough, when shit hits the fan, I think it's better for you to run other than going home dead. So yeah, you might not know their character before you marry to them, but the moment you see it, I think you should run.
And it's good we agree and we have a conversation as a people, that at the end of the day these issues come on board. I've also seen cases whereby cheating maybe has come on board, or because of abusiveness and such, it gets to a point whereby nishaiona kijana amechomwa na acid.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Na inakuwa ni shida tupu. Good is saying people do change like chameleons. It is true they change, but at the end of the day, we also need to establish to what extent we can tolerate some nonsense, which I'll talk about it in terms of money. Nyox, good evening.
Yes. Good evening to you. How are you guys?
Very fine. Welcome on board as we talk about abuse in relationships, and we're talking about physical abuse. Have you ever been a victim, or you have seen a friend of yours being a victim?
I have seen a friend, not me. I've never been married. I've been saying this several times, lakini natafuta.
Boyfriend. Hata boyfriend unajua anaweza kuwekelea kofi.
No, I've never been an abusive relationship,
Mhm.
but I have seen cases, and I have had several friends of mine complaining. But the unfortunate thing that they complain a lot, but still wako kwa hiyo marriage. So you wonder, what is that they are keeping, that is keeping them there? Somebody anachapwa daily. Asubuhi ni ni vita ni breakfast yake. Saa
Vita
sita
gani?
vita ni breakfast yake. Vita zote za mwili, sio hiyo ingine ya mwili.
Mhm.
Kichapo, unajuanga ile kichapo ya umbwa, wanasemanga kichapo ya umbwa.
Naumbwa.
Yeah, again, alafu badala she ran away from her life,
Mhm.
or from these messes, anakaa tu hapo. So unaona, like the marriage, anaona kabisa those red flags that the marriage is so abusive, the relationship is very abusive, but anasema in the name of staki, I don't know what the society will say, I don't know what the church will say about me, so I would rather prefer I dead in marriage, I keep on praying in my marriage rather than nitoke. So yeye amekaa hapo si kwa sababu ako at peace, amekaa hapo because she's
Watu
fearing
watasema nini?
watu watasema nini, and that is the unfortunate thing. So these things are so real, and actually nikaa zimeongezeka nowadays, they are more because many cases nowadays ni za abusive marriages, relationship, because unasikia mtu fulani aliua fulani, unaona.
Yeah.
So these things are there.
And it's good because you have brought about on board why people sometimes stay in unhealthy or these kind of abusive relationships. And Goodyear is saying love is complicated because especially when it's one-sided and you have invested in it. And this is also an excuse that we give ourselves so that we stay longer in abusive relationships. And sometimes you say, I have stayed for long for this. I have kids. What are the people going to say? And you'll also find
Yes.
that sometimes the abusive husbands, the abusive women are very romantic.
Yes, in public. In public.
By the
Nitakuja
way, that's
nikuweke,
true, Anne. Yeah, in public, yeah.
In public.
nitakuja nikupige, but after that nitafuatisha na very romantic honeymoon.
I know.
Cover up your nonsense. Yeah.
Eh.
What? Rubbish. That's wrong.
There was a kuna mahali nilikuwa nimeenda harusi, and a pastor happened, okay, my friend husband ni mchungaji, so alikuwa anahubiri hapo na akaniambia, sasa yule anahubiri pale na akiingia kwa nyumba he's something else. He's just I'm just trying to back up your statement ya Anne. In public they will try to cover up makosa, lakini wakiingia nyumba they are something else.
Yeah.
But when you see them walking together, huwezi sema hata huyo mtu huwa anapigwa. Not unless that person decide to open up for you. Nakwambia, achana na yule venye unamuona pale. It's not how you see him or her. These people are very dangerous. When you enter with them in the house, I'm the only person who can testify about this person. Because in public, anataka cover up and to show everybody that they are together, they're in love. Even you start admiring that marriage. But behind their back, they know the shit that happens. Huh?
Yeah. And also another element that is also very, as much as we talk about these romantic abusers, the issues of also apologizing. They will always apologize. Mtu anakunyorosha anakupiga kofi lakini ana apologize. There is also what we call the aspect of making somebody have the juncture or feel guilty on behalf of the abuser. Yes, whereby I want to be responsible for my abuser's misbehavior and abuses. And it is not supposed to happen that way. Atina ku guilt stop, so that at the end of the day you feel nini. And there's also this issue of social pressure that comes on board. The pressure that relationships, marriages must work. And I believe I trust and say that yes, the divine call for marriages is that they must work or they should work. But in a juncture that they don't work, you should not kill yourself or get killed in a relationship that is not working.
Yeah.
You should quit and quit in the morning. If somebody has what you call mtu anakuja na panga anakung'oa. If mtu anakuja na pliers anang'oa makagari. Niliona mwingine juzi Leo had said that women are oral. So I want to relate to the other oral. A lady alikuwa oral na gentleman, yeah? Na wakati mwanaume anaenjoy kabisa, sasa hii hapo ndipo aliuma. I don't know if you saw that video. Akauma na akakataa nayo kabisa na akafika mpaka na mkono.
What?
And you can imagine the pain. So we are telling people it is not a must for you to be in a relationship that is violent. You must quit and quit in the morning. But now getting into another level, as we try to get our producer on board so that he gives us a commercial break, there is also this aspect of can you be able to tell somebody who is in an abusive relationship without necessarily seeing the first-hand evidence? Yes. Which are these signs?
I think one of them is not telling if somebody's in a relationship. Generally, signs of an abusive relationship.
Yes.
It's communication monitoring. If you're my husband and you don't trust me enough, so you keep snooping and checking who I'm talking to, what are you doing on your phone? What is it? If you cannot trust me, I can't even talk on there. You would keep checking my emails, my texts, my email. Yani, you have even hacked my phone. That is a form of abuse. Isolation is another one. They isolate you from having your friends. You can't have abuse friends. They may try to convince you that your family and friends don't even actually like you. Either way, the goal is to cut you off your support system that could otherwise help you leave the relationship. They don't want you to know the truth. They want to make sure that they are in control of your life. Another thing is financial control. They make sure, some of the men, they make sure that you're not working, so you don't have money. I go back to a story that I had given. There's a story that I had told about my friend. So the guy makes sure that the lady has no money. Kama amelima, tuseme amepanda waru, potatoes, he'll make sure that whatever is harvested imeuzwa yote, mpaka ana make sure mpaka mbegu ya kupanda hakuna. So totally there's nothing that she can do to get money, so that ashinde akimcall kumuitisha everything, even pads, even those essential things that a woman would need and would feel so ish to ask about. So they make sure that you have no control of your financial situation. That's also another sign. Another thing is coercion. They use this as a tactic to force you to do things that you don't want to do, whether by begging, threats, force, or emotional manipulation. Like you said, emotional manipulation. This can include sexual activities. There are some things that you don't want to do. I have a story following up with that says there's a friend I was talking to earlier, and he was telling me of a friend who was married, and then guess what? This guy was living abroad. They were married. So yeye ako home anangoja mtu wake, hata hafanyi chochote mbaya, amekaa na kiu yake, anangoja nini? Mtu wake.
Packaging.
Guess what? Anangoja packaging ya mtu wake. Guess what the husband comes and says? Yes, siku hizi hakulangi mbele. Anataka ya nyuma.
Gani hiyo ya nyuma?
Imagine.
Gani hiyo?
Ile mahali nini yenye tunafaa kutolea waste from. Hapo ndio anataka. Hiyo ndio anataka.
Ya nyuma hiyo ya nyuma.
We say as it is in 24 TV channel, yeah?
in Africa 24, we say it as it is. Imagine, that is another form of sexual activities that maybe you had not agreed to have such things in your marriage. So if somebody comes and says that, you're like, okay, I don't understand that. So that is coercion. And some other behaviors that you're really not into, that mtu analeta, they keep you, they may use coercion to keep you in the relationship. You try to leave. Yeah, they will now watakuwa wazuri zaidi ya kuonyesha, oh, they can even buy you a new house, another car to keep you from that. One of the
and as I bring on board Nyox, it's good you have talked about quite a number of things that the signs that definitely you are in an abusive relationship. But I want to ask Nyox a question. Can you see a man or a lady and try to detect that this person is in an abusive relationship? What are these characteristics in a person? Ukiona huyu mwanaume ama mwanamke utasema, ai, huyu kuna vile labda behind the scenes there's something that is happening. Yep.
I think one thing is physical appearance. Physical appearance, utaweza kuona mtu and you can clearly tell that this person is in abusive relationship kulingana venye hata anavaa. You will see this person is depressed yet the person is married. So unaona like she's happy but she's pretending to be happy. Again, there is this thing of speaking it out. But it is quite unfortunate because some people wanaongeanga when it is too late. Or when wamesafa sana. I think the Anne has talked it all. But to me, I can say utashindwa kuona mtu ako in abusive relationship. Honestly, especially kwa physical appearance, you will differentiate that this person is not happy. Whether she's in a relationship or she's married.
And it's true because you can tell, even physically, you can tell out of injuries that one person has. Yes. Utaona tu huyu amekuja ofisi amevimba uso moja ama pande moja ya uso, unamuuliza ni nini, anakwambia aligongwa na murango. But in the real sense, unashindwa
na wengine hawana nywele zimetoka zote.
Nywele wameng'olewa nywele. Unaona mwingine anatembea kana kwamba ako na shida pahali, lakini in the real sense hiyo shida ni ile ya kunini, sitaki kusema sana. Ama utaona mtu hana meno moja, anakuja nini, anakwambia nilienda kufungua.
I usually ask myself, Anne and Jessie, okay, is love this crazy such that you know very clearly that you are in an abusive relationship or in marriage and you continue staying there? I mean, umeendea kifo ama nini? Is love this crazy? Because mimi nikiona tu red flag ya kwanza, siwezi simamia hapo. You know, life, my life is better than anything else. My happiness, my joy, my peace of mind is better. Because I cannot allow a man to take advantage of me just because alinitolea dawoli. This person nimekuwa kama I'm like a drum to him. Why would someone allow someone to be a burden or to be misusing? If I can use the term love in terms of wanasema in quotes ati we are in love, I'm playing for my marriage. Na yetu huyo mtu hata ukimwangalia ako na injuries kwa uso, like the picture yenye tulikuwa hapo, huyo mtu ameng'olewa hadi macho. Maybe alikuwa ameona ka red flag kadogo but she assumed akasema my husband will change. Ni kidogo tu. My husband will change.
And that's the call we're making to everybody, that at the end of the day, as much as we have these discussions, it's always good to take care of yourself and also wherever you are. Because these things can happen. We have also seen cases of depressed people, and you can tell a person who is in an abusive relationship, somebody who is depressed, somebody who has withdrawn from the society, somebody who has even suicidal thoughts, and you have seen people taking their lives. Mtu tu anaenda anachukua kitu anajihang. We have quite a number of cases of people taking off their lives, and at the end of the day, you have even addictions. Unashindwa kwa nini huyu jamaa, and these are signs that we are encouraging people to check amongst ourselves, also our friends, kwa sababu mwanaume akianza hako na kunywa pombe, ameanza kunywa pombe to a point that afadhali alale club kuliko aende nyumbani kupigwa bibi or something of that sort. Kila mtu asubuhi anakujanga amefura. These are some of the conversation we need, because at the end of the day we will not have a society unless we try to also understand other people. And Christine Mukami is saying, you can never understand why people stay until you are in the situation. It's so easy for people out here to judge why one stays. And I also want to believe so, but at the end of the day, there is always where we call a loophole, or as a loop where you move out of that. Goody is saying dowry is a part of troubles and approval to some abuse. Simply because I have paid your dowry doesn't mean you become my drum. We want to move on to the next type of abuse, and you will agree with me that is also very bad: the emotional abuse, whereby I just want to deal. I have mentally made a traffic of love emotionally to you. I am here to insult you. I'm here to make you question your kama nikikuuliza ama ukiniuliza wewe ni mwanaume aina gani, bure kabisa, burukenge, I think you are dealing with my emotions. You are intruding. And ama uniambie you are poor in bed. But this day, okay, sijai fanya hiyo maneno, kwa hivyo sijai ambiwa hivyo. So when it comes to touch, emotional abuse, what are your feelings, Anne, about this?
Emotional abuse. I think one of the things that people who want to abuse emotionally, they'll start by insulting you, by calling you names, and also making you feel like you're crazy. Unajua kuna mtu anaweza question how you're doing your things until you think, by the way, am I crazy? What? Even normal activities, they make you feel guilty for even normal activities by calling you names. You feel like you're not yourself, and they manipulate you in a way that you can't even tell what is happening. Yeah, there's somebody who can lower your self-esteem so much that you even forget who you are.
And
that is one form of emotional abuse.
And also humiliating you in front of others.
Yeah, humiliating you in front of others.
Especially when in front of kids, that can really damage someone
Even
emotionally.
women do that to their husbands. Anamwambia sasa wewe unakuja aje na ni bwanake ako hapo. Some things you're not supposed to demean somebody in that way that you make him feel that way. Because we know men have higher egos. Nyokes.
And in this kind of emotional abuse, the only problem with this emotional abuse is that most of the time, most people don't understand that they are being abused because it doesn't have the physical damage. But whatever is happening in the world, you lose your self-esteem. You start asking yourself, ameniita mjinga. Na ni ukweli inaweza kuwa mimi ni mjinga.
Ama mimi ni mjinga.
Yes.
Ama unaitwa majina wanapenda kuitana ya wewe ni malaya. Those kind of words. They really love using those words.
And in terms of emotional abuse, you start consoling yourself and saying and brushing off. Hiyo tu ni by the way. Si nampeanga, ameniita malaya lakini nampeanga vizuri. At the end of the day.
Maybe he wanted to be a maho in bed.
And unfortunately by the way watu wanavumilia kwa relationship na marriages wakisema ata change tu. I'm still playing. Hata niliambia pasi yao akimuombea. We have even fasted like 3 days or 4 days with my pastor. So I'm very optimistic bwanangu ata change ama boyfriend. Especially by the way it can be so. There was a creep. Kuna mahali nilikuwa nasoma. Watu about girl, there were couples walikuwa na prepare for a wedding. Sasa then a man came to realize that the woman or the lady had had an affair with someone else. And who is that someone else? The best friend to the fiance. So and he was
Yeah, I had that
really
story. Mhm.
yeah, and he was really disappointed. And what he did, he just wrote a letter na akasema yeye haezi continue living, he cannot live again. Kama ni beste yake amemfanyia hivyo, amefanya kila kitu, he sacrificed everything, so he had to write a note there. I did not have someone I can share with this story. So what I had to do is just to take away my life. Sasa unaona, that person was emotionally damaged. Yani angeweza kurudi normal again because he couldn't imagine, especially ama hakuwa na imagine ati anaweza kuwa akiona the couples ati ni best yake, the best friend with the wife. So these things are there.
And I think this sense of being worthless before somebody who has basically been there for you, or somebody who has been a lover to you, is something that is very different. And I want to ask, when it also comes to households, when even how we relate with others silently, the silent wars that we keep beating around, hii silent war unapiganga mtu wako ati unanyamaza, hii kumnyima unamnyima, hii kumwambia nifunue ukimaliza unifunike. This emotional balance. How can we end up, Anne?
How can we? I didn't hear your question. You broke up.
How can we make sure that we stop this nonsense of emotional abuse?
I think when two people are healthy relationship, it's a relationship that both partners, they build each other up, and an abusive relationship is one party tearing the other one down. So if you're in a relationship together, like the silent treatment I had talked about, I don't see why, especially men. I feel like men are really very good with silent treatment because, as we said earlier, women talk a lot. So I might not be able to keep quiet for long. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
There. But maybe in bed, that's where it comes in that you might go and I'll nini gonga you with the elbow. I don't want, or finish and then I sleep. That's kind of, I think the best thing, as we have said earlier in our conversations earlier.
Hapa kwanza. Hapa.
I think one of the things is communication is one of the key things in a relationship, that you should communicate effectively. Communication, communicate to be heard, so that we don't reach to this point where we tunanyamaziana kwa nini. So we just solve whatever issue we have. I know it's easier said than done, but it's better if you communicate. Because kuna vitu zingine mtazuia hapo ndani. Tukicommunicate nikupe ama hiyo story ishia hapo, hautafikiria niende nikatafute nje kwa sababu hii haiwork. Na hata ukienda nje si ati hata hiyo itawork vizuri. Bado huyo ni mwanamke tu kama yeye mwingine. It doesn't work. So I think communication is one of the things that we should do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woody is saying emotional abuse is horrible in both men and women, but it is worse when it happens to men because they are not believed and told to man up. They don't have, they have nowhere to turn to. And we can say majority of people are suffering from emotional abuse.
Yeah. Especially men.
When emotionally you detach yourself from me. Wewe unajua nini ilikutoa kwenye nyumbani kabisa. Wewe unajua nini the attachment we have. Wewe unajua watoto wanahitaji nini. Then hapa umekuja umeanza kuninyima. Na uniongelee.
Does that give you a permission to abuse me if nimekunyima?
Not really, but now I'm talking about now we are talking about two kinds of abuses here. You are attaching me emotionally, you are abusing me emotionally, I now evacuate, and that is what Christine was saying. Emotional abuse sometimes leads to physical abuse. Unaninyamazia, unaninyima, hunipei, unanitusi silently ama kuninyira ile at the end of the day, na
Hiyo
mimi
unaninyima unipei. Ehe. Hiyo
mm,
inakunini sana Jesse.
inanidisturb, na hakuna kitu mbaya kama kudeal with kulower the esteem of a man when it comes to issues of bed.
Hiyo ya kupewa unaongelelea sana. Are you in one? Juni guy, why I've noted unainini sana.
I have just turned 18, so
Ai.
hii maneno, but people are suffering emotionally. Is it true, Nyox?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nini?
Is it true?
Nasikia hiyo.
Hii mambo ya kupenda ndio imekufanya ukuwe confused. As Nyox
Hapana,
comes on,
ni penye unashinda kusema ati kupewa na nadhania ai, kwani kuna mahali umenyimwa? Umedudia hiyo nini mara mingi sana. Confess.
tuko personal kwa sababu mimi personally I'm very 18 years and msiniharibu. You are making me start thinking about nini. Kwanza, okay, mimi kwa nini watu wanyimane actually? Why should you attach me emotionally? Why should you abuse me emotionally? No, kama ulitoka kwa
it's not a daily routine.
But it is an agreement. Even if it's not a daily routine, it is supposed to be an agreement. It is me and you. Na hapa ndipo wanasemanga, nasikianga, I don't know because I'm 18 years. Nasikianga wakisema hata kama tumekosana na tuongeleshani,
how will you even enjoy it? Kama mmekosana, how will you cannot even enjoy. Kama mmekosana, you cannot.
Haiwezi work. For women it doesn't work like that.
Aki to me kwanza personally, you cannot abuse me, threaten me, sijui unanifanyia then you expect me. Hiyo nayo hapana. Hiyo sio ni kuni threaten double. I cannot. For me I can't.
So, you know what you are promoting now, Nini Nyox? You are saying that if I'm abusing you, then you revenge by abusing me emotionally.
Exactly, I will abuse you because why are you abusing me physically?
Now, when it comes to two abuses, are they making any correct version? Why don't we solve this?
Hiyo itakuwa rape case kwa sababu you cannot abuse me then you expect me ati you just want me when you just need to sleep with me. Hiyo nayo hapana. For example, you call me that name Mapoko. And then you expect me ati jioni, the same Poko. Is the one. Ati una expect ya kupe. Hiyo nayo ni abuse, hata ni emotionally.
But kuna vile unaweza itwa kajina jioni, kajina mchana, kajina kazuri ka kizungu. You know, Poko is very abusive in Kiswahili. What is Poko in English?
Prostitute.
Slut. And I think there's always a romantic way of calling your person, not prostitute. Is it slut or something? Kitu kama hiyo, yeah? I think if you put it into a good context, it stops being an abuse and it is a positive character. Hii naona imefurahisha Ana. Ni ukweli?
No, I'm just here wondering how would I even, if somebody has been abusive, how would I even agree to have a sexual? Anyway, I wouldn't want to talk about that because I know there are people who go through it and yet they are still bado bwana anataka either tumekosana ama hatujakosana. It becomes forceful and people, believe it or not, there is also rape in marriage. There is rape in marriage. I don't know how you take it, but yes, there is rape in marriage. Because if I don't want and you're really forcing yourself into me, then that is rape. How do we classify rape? It's also a form of sexual abuse.
Yes. When we are not in agreement and when we are basically, I'm forcing myself into you. I'm coming as dry fry instead of waiting for both of us to be wet.
Breathing and everything. Hey, no.
That's not abuse, true.
Yeah, that's abuse.
And basically, as we
Christine is saying that sex Sex for women is mental. Yes, I agree. If I'm not okay here, if I'm not happy, then it doesn't work.
For men, it
Exactly.
is both mental and
Thank
physical.
you, Christine, for that.
For men, it is both mental and physical.
Mostly physical for men. I'm not a man, but I tend to think so. Unless you correct me, Jesse.
How do you know? And you're not a man.
But then that
Good
is
day
that,
saying
that
it's
that
called
is
making
taking
up.
advantage of me.
You then finish the day by making up. Oh, makeup sex. Good day is talking about makeup sex. Yes, we can agree. And then if we agree, actually, I hear it becomes very nice once you agree after disagreement, and then you have makeup sex. I hear it's usually very nice. Hearing is a
And
cure.
I think I
And I
want
like
to disseminate and also say we should also look at the extent to which we should have sex as a solution to the abuses that we have
yeah,
in relationship. To
yeah.
what extent ati nikutusi the whole day, nirudi nikushike pahali na kushikanga, unaanza kuyeyuka
Z.
kama barafu na
Hiyo
una
ni
nini?
Z.
Yeah,
Hiyo
I think
nayo
we need to
hapana.
cover up peer sex ati ndio ina solve our issues. We should solve the issues. Si ati achana na hiyo kuja kama mama blah 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 and then it's done. The same thing will
Alafu
repeat
when it's
itself if it
done,
was an issue.
anarudi tu kwa same abuse.
Exactly.
Now,
You should solve the issue, then have it.
Mm.
and I think men who are also following us live through Africa 24 TV channel, remember you have a chance to talk to us. Remember you also have a chance to chat with us and also get in touch with us. We always bring this show each and every Friday at 8 p.m. East African time. And you can be able to engage with us, tell us which topics we can cover. Send us a request so that you can be one of our panelists in one of our shows. And we discuss topical issues that affect our relationships and such. You can also follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel and also our Facebook, our X, together with Instagram, without forgetting all the social media platforms. And you can also get in touch with us at afric24@gmail.com, and you be sure you will be able to get in touch with us. As we almost come to an end, I want to bring two questions, or a question that we will agree, both of us. Is there financial abuse in
Yes,
relationships?
as I had said
I'll
that.
start
Yes,
with you.
yes,
Hey,
yes.
ngoja kidogo, relax, sijamaliza
Yes.
swali. Hii ya umeruka mbio hivyo.
Nilikuwa nimegoja hivi umalizia na mimi nichukue.
Money
Yes.
is
Sasa
close
nataka
to my heart.
and I want us to, and this one must be very practical. Financial abuse.
Yeah.
And you can give us past experiences of financial abuse. So I'll start with you, Anne, and after you finish, I come to you, Nyox. Unamtupe real life examples.
Ati real life. Ai wewe.
Ai,
Mpaka
hapana.
umezima kamera.
Asionekane ameenda kutafuta Mwakenya.
At real life. I think
Eh.
some people abuse somebody, as I had said earlier, wachana Jeff Jesse na real life. There are some people who would tell you not to work so that they are able to
Exactly.
control you financially. And there are some women who are also abusive in nini. Unatumia tu mtu pesa zake ukijua very well that you're not even interested in this thing, or you're just in that relationship or that marriage just because they have the money. I believe that is also a form of abuse, because I believe if you're two of you in a marriage or a relationship, if you are making money, then it should be for the good of the two of you. Leo had said that
Exactly.
if you're complaining about money, you should also have money. As a
Yeah.
woman, because a marriage is two people that are coming together to help each other. Even a relationship. Why am I dating somebody who I just want? They are not cash cows. Men are not cash cows. Sometimes we also women are a bit selfish, that we just want to take, and you're not doing anything to even help. So huyo mtu
Yeah.
kwa nini hata kufanyia kitendo? Ataumwa because amefanya kazi ndio apate hiyo do, and then now you want to use it like that. You want to like steal from him. That's my nini. That's my take on financial abuse.
Yeah, I
Nyox,
think.
Another thing, yes,
yes, and you can
the
complete and then Nyox picks it up.
the abusive person may cut off your access to your accounts, as they had said. Some people might even hide information about your financial situation and try to make you quit your job, like I had said. Kuna mtu unaweza olewa na yeye akwambia, see, I'm providing everything for you, just stop working. So you okay? And then huko ndani hata za mafuta hivi hata za makeup utawakanga umeparara,
Exactly.
huwezi hata jinunulia
Yeah.
sanitary towel. So
Mm.
yeah, there is a form of financial abuse.
Yeah, very
Yes,
true.
no?
I
Wonderful.
really agree with you, Anne.
Nyox, as you come on
What
board, I'll also request Anne to check with our studio persons because we have one more video to play as we almost come to the end. Yes,
Okay.
Nyox, you can talk about this financial abuse.
Yes, I really agree with what Anne is saying, that someone can marry you anakwambia since I got everything, niko job and I'm earning a good job, we kazi yako utakuwa housewife. So na yeye mrembo anakaa tu hapo anakaa tu hapo tu anagojea everything. Unfortunately, mwanaume anaanza kumpangia what to use, what to ask, what to request, or what not to do, this and this and this. So unaona this person is being restricted hata kutumia pesa kaa hizo, kwa sababu anaweza fanyiwa shopping ya mwezi, alafu zile shopping zilifanywa, and you know ladies ni watu wa kupika this and this and that, so zile shopping alifanyiwa zinakata kutosha, so the lady will go back asking for money. Najua aliambiwa yeye ni housewife, atakuwa akikaa kwa nyumba, kazi yake ni kufurahisha mwanaume, so the lady is expecting the man to do everything for her. Akipeana list ya Kenya anataka kwa nyumba anapatiwa, kama ni mavazi anapatiwa. So and this man will take advantage of this lady. I'm very sure the man will atafika mahali na atakuwa very tired na anaona like as if this woman is misusing my money. Na that way unaonanga some of these people wenye wanakuanga ma housewife, they come out wanaanza kuconfess, wanasema hata ukiona si tunakanga nyumbani, afadhali mtu mwenye anajifanyia kazi, because these people when you tell them we don't have, I don't have, I need this, I need that, they will try to limit, ama wanakuachia so moja, wanaenda ati na hiyo so inatakikana ipike the whole supper. Na huyo mzae asipopata sapa hapo na aliacha do, you cannot even tell him anything. Mi niliacha do, I'm supposed to be, you know, I'm supposed to be eating the dinner kana, ama nafaa kupata already ushapika cause niliacha so unaona madharau inaingia. Some of these people wanaanza kukosana, and the man start taking advantage na anaanza kuabuse the woman just because anamwambia you don't know, nikikuachia pesa una misuse because huwa uchoki, you know. I think red flags uko hapo. Ukiona hivyo, I would love to advise every woman or any lady asiwahi
Or a man,
tegemea mwanaume,
other man.
asiwahi tegemea mwanaume ama mwanamke. It is
Yes.
all is good. When you got an opportunity, just go and use it. Because when you have your money, no one will abuse you. By the way, when you have when financially, when you have your money, if you want that good care to earn, you will buy for yourself. You are not depending on a man. If you want that good suit MC, you won't be you won't be expecting it from a
tegemea
man.
to buy
Yeah,
it for you.
exactly.
Kama
Yes,
hii
yes, just
nimenunuliwa.
Ati
Nataka kusema
tunategemea
nimenunuliwa.
ati sugar
nimekununulia.
mami huko akununulie usuti.
Yeah, it's good because good here, and I echo those sentiments that you should not be a beggar in a relationship. You should not, somebody should not use financial muscles, or you don't have money
Yeah.
to abuse you financially. And that is why good here is saying some people are not allowed money to have money both in men and women, and it's part of control and insecurity. When somebody has issues with this aspect, as we come to the end, we also want to encourage everybody and say that there is always a way out. You don't have to die in a relationship,
Yes,
which is
exactly. Mhm.
you have to step
Yeah,
out
yeah.
and know when to call it quits. And we have a case study. I'll go back to studio. We have a case study of a lady who was able to move out of this kind of engagement. Studio.
Incredibly dangerous to leave an abuser, because the final step in the domestic violence pattern is kill her. Over 70% of domestic violence murders happen after the victim has ended the relationship, because then the abuser has nothing left to lose. Other outcomes include long-term stalking, even after the abuser remarries, denial of financial resources, and manipulation of the family court system to terrify the victim and her children. And still we ask, why doesn't she just leave? I was able to leave because of one final sadistic beating that broke through my denial. I realized that the man who I loved so much was going to kill me if I let him. So I broke the silence. I told everyone. The police, my neighbors, my friends and family, total strangers. And I'm here today because you all helped me. Abuse thrives only in silence. You have the power to end domestic violence simply by shining a spotlight on it.
And that is
Wow.
powerful, that you don't have to die in silence. You have to
Yes.
speak it out. Remember,
It thrives
the
in
person who you claim to love is one day going to kill you if you don't step out and talk about this. We need to have this conversation, and we need to know when to call it quits. What are your final sentiments, Anne?
I think what we have dealt a lot is physical abuse, even emotional abuse. And I believe, as I had said earlier, the moment you see those red flags, don't ever say that it's too late because you're in a marriage or you have kids. Is it emotional, physical? Just leave. It's never too late to leave, because as we have heard in that video, the last thing that will happen to you is that you're going to die. You'll be killed. Either you go crazy or you die completely. If there's dying completely, you're gone. So it's better to stay, to talk about it, and don't be silent. If you're going through physical abuse, emotional abuse, seek help from a counselor, or yeah, there are many ways to get out of it or get out. Those are my last sentiments. This is indeed a very good topic that we've handled today. Thank you, Jesse.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we really want to encourage everybody that it is indeed a very positive impact if at all we live in a less toxic, in a less abusive relationships. We have to have a conversation. We have to talk. We have to find our niches so that at the end of the day, we share what we are suffering, and we also talk, because it is very sad when the society has turned to be animated. And in that, we don't have a sweet thorn. A thorn will always be a thorn. Be it sweet, be it sad, it will always be a thorn. Leo, your parting shots as we almost come to the end.
I just want to thank you guys. I think this is a topic that is so extensive that maybe next time you get time, you can proceed with it. What is happening currently in our country or in our society? There's a lot of abuse. And I would really like you guys to touch on the men. You know, men are the ones who are suffering. You know, for ladies, as somebody said, they are mouthy, which I discredited and talked of oral, and you also discredited that. Ladies will speak for themselves whenever they feel abused. That is why we have Maendeleo ya Wanawake, we have feed and such kind of things. But when it comes to men, just say if your woman beats you today, I'm sure when you go to the police force to report, they will tell you to go back to the house. Nobody will take you serious. So we need to tell people that men are the people who are suffering.
Yeah.
In this abusive kind of relationship. But I just want to thank you. I really appreciate this kind of show. And to our viewers, we will always be here for you. Sorry, today I had to join from a remote village in Siaya. We are yet to get the last mile electrical connection. So inshallah, when we meet in the normal places, and also to remind them, our political show will be on from 11 p.m. I know, it's only a few minutes to Kisumu, then I'll be in Nairobi, then everything will be okay. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate and we are honored. Beryl Best is saying, don't beg, make your money. Don't be a charity club in a relationship. We want to thank everybody who has participated in this. This has been an elaborate discussion, abuse in relationships, and we have agreed there is no sweet thorn. It is always an issue of a thorn being a thorn. We want to appreciate each and every person who has participated in this. Our viewers, just to mention a few, we have Goodia, we have Christine, we have Karemi, we have Judith, we have Regina, we have Dolly Mavuta, Nyambura, Beryl Best, and every member who has been following this. We also want to thank my panelists, that is Leo, we have Anne, and we also have Nyox, our production team. Remember, this is Africa 24 TV channel where you cannot get any other show where we say as it is apart from Africa 24 TV channel. We always meet here each and every Friday at 8 p.m. East African time. Remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Africa 24. You can also like us through Facebook, X, Instagram, and each and every side. Remember, we keep the conversation going. Thank you so much. Have a less or no abusive relationship. God bless you.
Choose.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Nyox, MC Jessie, and Annie Wawero, Bed of Roses. Promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through